Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vero, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina. Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Latina podcast. This is episode 297, and it's going to kick off our summer series. If you've been with Level Up Latina on our podcast for a couple of years now, we hope you have been. We like to keep it short and simple and do some rapid fire episodes, usually through the month of August and July. And so this is it. Welcome to the month of July. Welcome to the first summer series episode. I will be your host along with my co-hosts, Ceci and Vero. And today's topic, we are tackling dating after divorce or just heartbreak. All of us have had a heartbreak at some point or another. And we've had many clients, family members, friends that have navigated divorce. So our theme really is healing and reclaiming your power in dating. We're going to talk about just our experiences with what's come to be for everyone overcoming. And it's going to be, again, super short and sweet. And we would like to put an appeal out there to anybody that's gone through divorce, good or bad, rocked it, learned from it, grew from it. We'd love to interview someone who's on the other side of divorce. We've been wanting to for a couple of years now, and to really give us your perspective and your heart and vulnerability. If you don't mind, we'd love to have it. We'd love to feature you on the show. We don't host too many guests these days. For a while, we had a lot of people knocking on our doors, so we've been there and done that. But this is a topic we have yet to focus on. So please reach out to us, hit us up in our DMs, or send us an email, topic divorce, and we'll know to get right back at you and, bet your story, and maybe you can be on the show. We'd love to feature you. So before we jump into this one, ¿Cómo están, Ceci and Vero? Hopefully not frozen on your side of the screen.
No, it looks like I'm unfrozen now.
She is.
Salucita.
She is thought out. Nice and thought out. You can see me. I'm not a ghost anymore. So we are ready to rock and roll this summer series. It's nice and hot here in LA or in Southern California. I don't know how my Bay Area chicas are doing over there, but it looks like she's wearing a top that is like shoulder exposing. So it's got to be warm over there. It's got to be.
It's warm for San Francisco standards. The sun came out, so I'm like, let me show a little skin today.
This is a perfect day to be talking about this because, speaking of weather, I just spent the whole morning at the beach. Just several beaches, actually, because I had a client that came in from Texas that is actually living her best life dating after divorce. So it's part of the reason we thought we'd talk about this. So it's a beautiful day today. The sun came out nice and early. Sometimes it can be really overcast. Sometimes it can be very overcast by the beach. But today was perfect. The minute we got out there, about 10 a.m., it was sunny. So it's been a beautiful day. And this friend is glowing. This client is glowing and doing her best as she dates after divorce. So I wanted to tell a little bit about her tales. But again, anything that we want to share today about the experience you all have had with friends, family, clients that are dating after divorce. One funny story that I'll share about my client, and she shall remain nameless, is that she jumped right back in. I don't know if that's a red flag or a green flag, because we'll explore some flags today. But she was like, hey, I'm doing it. You only live once. And she knew that her marriage wasn't working out. And she said, I am joining the apps. And she was on the app here in LA. She turned on our apps and changed her location. And she's like, hey, I'm here over a week, I think, or almost a week. And she's going to see if she fires up a date out here. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So talk about dating after divorce in this day and age. You can literally get all the apps, start over, meet people anywhere you are, on vacation or at home. And I thought that was really interesting. So again, I don't know if that's a green flag or a red flag or just a confidence thing that I think is so cool. She's already had some horror stories about dating after divorce.
Oh no.
She's had some good stories too, and some heartbreak. There was someone she was seeing that also had children, and it was sort of working, and he was so attentive and communicative, which dating is crazy because, getting ghosted or just people not having time. And it was going really well, but there was a moment where they just decided not to. So she's already recovering from a dating after divorce heartbreak after being divorced. So that's interesting to navigate. And I'm just glad to see that she's healing from that moment. And there's a lesson. She keeps saying there's such a lesson in all the people that she's met and that she's decided to date. I will say this client's very brave. I'm like really, really impressed how quickly she jumped back into the dating pool and is navigating both being someone who works, has children, is co-parenting, still friends with her ex, and now adding dating to the mix, like, wow, talk about time management skills and confidence, like just confidence to be back out there. But that's one of my experiences with a client, watching her jump back in fairly quickly. I don't know what you all think about jumping in quickly. I mean, like, divorce was final and 30 days later, there was like a boo. What do you all think about jumping in that quickly?
Girl, I'll be like, throw your divorce party, you do you. Because I know if you're married with kids, have been married the least amount of time than you ladies, but then also haven't had, I think, the most heartbreaks out of all of us. Because I was just like, let's date. Because I never really dated, right, before. So I think dive in there, go have your divorce party. You go and tell the world you're divorced, because maybe you couldn't tell the world you were miserable before. Or maybe you couldn't tell the world before that things were not as great as you thought they were, right? And this relationship had to end for one reason or another. And if it's not because you're trying to, find the replacement immediately, it's more of like, we need distraction, dude. Like, divorce is heavy, especially if you have kids. I cannot even imagine. Like, I dated, it was about 7 years ago, right? About almost 8 years ago that I last went on a date and did anything like that. But the dating pool already then was so hard. It was already so challenging. And you already throw in apps, you throw in an organic meeting. It was already hard. And I was not married then. And I just imagine being thrown back into the real world of dating again. And life is just so different. Life is so different. People are so different. The things that happened in our world in the last, 6-7 years drastically changed people, really impacted them. So I don't know who the hell's out there that's a qualified bachelor or bachelorette if you're, dating, depending on your preference. But I don't know. You don't know who's out there and how things affected them. And they're probably not even dealing with it because they don't know. So go for it. Have fun. And I think do that for a good time. Do that for a few months, even a year, because it takes a long time, because so much goes into a marriage, so much goes into a relationship. When you break up, people tell you, how long did you guys date for? 5 years. Was it going to take 2.5 to get over that person completely, right? Half the time. Marriage is completely different. And I know we have friends and family that we know that are divorcees or going through it right now. It is hard. So go out there, have fun, meet the people that are going to, have the horror stories. I support it. Be safe. Always let someone know where you're going to be at, because people are crazy. But have a good time, because we need it. And it's already a tough time. It's already a challenging time. You're trying to figure things out and get things done. And it's a whole new beginning. So have fun while you're at it and be safe.
I love that, Vero. Vero said, do it, go for it. Why not go for it? I will say one thing that she said was her reason for jumping back in is she's exploring what she really wants, because now she knows what she doesn't want. So that is true. Like, after you've been in a relationship that you try to give it a go, something as serious as marriage, then you're very clear on what you want. So you jump back into the dating pool with a lot of clarity and experience, which is cool. She's learning a lot while dating different people, because she's jumping right back in. Like Vero said, do it for a year, jump back in, learn so much in that year. And also, it's a great way to not feel lonely. Like, that's something she admitted, you got to get used to not having your kids, to having weekends without your kids. Your schedule very much revolved around a spouse, and that spouse is no longer in the picture when you're divorced. And if you have children or the family of the spouse that you're used to being around, now you have this void. So that dating, if it's not so serious and it's a fun thing, like Vero said, going out there to explore, it definitely combats loneliness. So that's a bit of a green flag, a positive to dating after divorce or heartbreak. What about you, Sissy? What's been your experience? What do you think about the first question that I asked, though, like jumping back in so quickly? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say, because one, I've never been in that situation. And so I wouldn't know what, mood or mind they're in at that point. It could be like Vero said, like, yeah, I'm ready for it. Like, this was a hard marriage. I'm so ready to get back out there and meet someone, because, like, in the case of your client, they know what they're looking for. But it could also be like, no, I don't know. I think, but again, we won't know until we walk those in those shoes. But I think I would be the kind to be like, I need a break. I need to be with myself for a while. Maybe take a girls trip. Do that, have some fun, and then get back out there. No sé, pero that's that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts right now. I will say it's not the same, but I will say that when I went through a breakup, my first year of law school, right at the end of it, like it was a huge heartbreak. I've talked about it on the podcast before, where I was just crying. And it was like not even like a week before my final exams. And I was just devastated. I was like depressed. Like right after that, after exams and all that, like I went to Vegas with Sandra and Lisette, and that's what I felt like that's what I needed at that point. I just let loose, like had fun with my girls, and that's the medicine that I needed at that time because of the heartbreak. Again, it's different because now I'm older, being married and having the kids in the picture. It's different. So I don't know how, I would be, but I think I would take a moment to just be with myself, maybe do something that I've been wanting to do by myself for a while, and then, seek out new friendships or relationships. But I'll see for sure a girls trip would be in order, que me para chillar.
I like that, Ceci.
Yeah.
I like that. Before you even jump into a relationship with someone else, a partner, it's like you getting back in touch with you, having fun, your friends, letting go, like being single once again. I think that's such a good point. Like the adjustment to single life is an adjustment in your mindset, your lifestyle, the love that you express to yourself for you. Because to have made a decision to end a marriage, clearly there's some healing that has to go on, and take that time to heal. That's, I think, the counter to jumping in so quickly. Like, are you healed from what broke and what didn't work, and the hurt and the pain and the crying that you mentioned? Like, it's a tough time. So to be in another relationship right away, like, did you really process everything if you're now back at it?
I was going to say also how that marriage ended, because it could be amicably. Like you said, your client is still friends with her ex. And so maybe that's, she's healed from it and she can move on and start dating. But it could also be something as horrible as like, it ended really bad. We're not in good terms. We're co-parents, but it's not working out. Cause I've seen that, with friends and family members that are going through it. Like they're not getting along with the ex, and it's just like pettiness that happens. So then maybe it's like, yeah, I need to just heal from that and take some time before I jump on in and start something new with someone.
Yeah, I would say too, don't ignore those scary situations. Like if it didn't end well with an ex and they're volatile and unhappy and angry, I'd say if you add another person to that mix, that's dangerous. Like some people are just crazy and they're going to do crazy things if they see another person in the mix or judge you for it. So it is very important, I think, to take stock of your entire situation. If it ends in a way that's positive and safe and everybody is ready to move on, well, then you jump back into the dating pool much faster. If there is one side of it that is disgruntled, unhappy, volatile, temperamental, I'm glad you're out of it, my friend. And also take your time to get back into it, because there is another angry partner healing on the other side, and you have the right to move your life on. But I would say we're coaches, so we think strategically. So don't add more fire to the flame, and don't add more fuel or lighter fluid to the fuel. Careful with how quickly you jump back in. If there is, I'd say, an angry partner on the other side, a broken-hearted partner that still loves you, again, you have the right to move on. But the quicker you move on, I think the more fiery it can be for everyone. So it's a tough, tumultuous time. So taking time to reflect on, is it really something you are ready for? Your other partner, if they're completely out of your life and there's no impact on you, then maybe you jump much faster. If that other partner and there's kids and families and all that is still in your life, like you may not be able to jump back out there as much as you want to, but that's when the girl time comes in, the friends, the healing, the therapy, the church, the everything you can do, the single you time, you dating yourself. Dating after divorce, I hope, starts with you. Like that's going to be the tip of the day. Like dating yourself, traveling alone, taking yourself out to a nice fancy dinner, treating yourself to time away, electronic free time in nature, whatever is going to do it for you, the things you didn't have time for in your marriage, a new hobby, a new skill, friends you maybe let go of before. Like I'd say date you first. That's going to be the tip of the day. Other than that, any other good stories or horror stories any of you have to share regarding dating after divorce or heartbreak?
I think you hit it with it, because it depends how your divorce ends, right? It all depends how your divorce ends and why your marriage ended. But at the end of the day, you're the one living your life. So figure out what works for you. I think if you need sex to process, go for it. If you need something else to process, we all need something different, and there's no one way to do it, right? So I think just stay true to yourself. There's always going to be the little voice inside, like, hey, this doesn't feel right. I think I need to step away from whatever, or I need to get away, or I need to stop. Whatever it is, listen to your gut, listen to that little voice that says, maybe I need to go out. Maybe I don't need to go out. So whatever it's telling you, listen to it. And you've probably been neglecting that little voice for a while. If, it was probably telling you, hey, I feel that my partner's, my husband or my wife or my partner has been unfaithful. It's probably been telling you that. And then maybe that's what led to your marriage ending. Or, hey, I don't love this person anymore. And that's another thing. And it's also very hurtful because the other person maybe was still very in love. So yeah, like I said, depending on where your marriage, how and why it ended, be mindful of that. And I think that we definitely, the introspect of like what we personally need is going to be key, because we all need something different. So no tengan miedo to end things just because of what people might say.
Some interesting tidbits that I've experienced from watching clients of mine, not necessarily the young woman that I was with today, but watching them date again. When we've just exited a relationship, sometimes we're like trying to find the opposite of the person that we were with so desperately, right? And we're trying to make this like the grass is greener on the other side. And I would say to anybody dating after divorce, like, comparison is the thief of joy and it confuses things. So know what you want is one thing, but looking for people that seem to be like the opposite of your ex, that may not necessarily be the solution. Because I think we're justifying everything when we're trying to move on. We don't see bad when we start dating, especially if it's going well. You can have some horror story dates and you're like, oh my God, it's hard out there. And then maybe that really humbles you very quickly and teaches you to have perspective. But if that's not the case and your first couple of dates are like, they're perfect because they're the opposite of my previous partner, I think that's a tough marker. That's a tough like yardstick to measure people by, because you are who you are everywhere. Hopefully you've grown and you are an evolved person and you're doing your best to be a good communicator and heal your life and grow your life. But oftentimes the issues you were having in your relationship are issues for a reason. And like Vettel brought up infidelity, and that may be not something that you could have controlled. But if it's a personality thing and a life thing that wasn't working, I think drastically trying to go to the other side may not necessarily be the fix. I think you should really take stock of you and what you want. If you really know that you want the opposite of everything you had, good luck finding it. Good luck finding it, because then you have this long list of whatever this ideal person is. And I don't know that that's possible. I think everything is compromise. Like everything is compromise. So you have these rosy colored glasses, and the next relationship you might be looking over things. And this, I happened to a client of mine, funny enough. She started dating someone, and suddenly all the red flags that she would see, she wasn't seeing them because she wanted this person to be so perfect for her because they were different than her previous relationship. And it's like, wait, nobody's perfect. And what about this? And what about that? And what about that? But they were looking so desperately to make this person work because they had contrast to the other partner. Say they were more successful, the other partner wasn't very successful, and they were the higher income earner. And so they loved having this new person that was a higher income earner. But they were not very nice. They weren't very respectful. They had some weird times where they were gone and missing in action. It's like, they don't communicate with you. Like, I don't care if they make more money than your ex. Like, they don't communicate with you. You didn't like that from your ex. Why do you like that from them? So it's interesting that when you are trying to move on, I'd say careful to not now see certain things that you don't want because the person is so opposite to your ex. You're making them be okay. I hope that makes sense. I've seen that with several clients, in fact, because we suddenly have this different perspective, and then loneliness gets to us, and the wanting something to work gets to us, and all the trauma from the past relationship gets to us. But do not let go of your standard. Do not let go of what is good. And good is good, and kindness is kindness, and there are some things you cannot look the other way on. I had a family member that went through a difficult heartbreak. And I felt that they were making a lot of adjustments in their life for their partner. And now that their partner is out of the picture, I feel that they're going back to their previous selves. And the adjustments they made are no longer there. So it's so interesting how our partners change our perspective. So for instance, like wanting to be a parent. this relative was like, cool, if my partner doesn't want to have kids, I don't want to have kids. Now that partner's gone, suddenly they're talking about being a parent one day. And it is so fascinating to me. You were willing to let go of being a parent with that partner. So when we're dating, we are letting go of things that we actually deep down want. And especially after you've been divorced, you start to sort of settle, I think, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say it. And I'm so proud of this relative of mine because, by the way, they did what they had to do and they got out of it. And now they're back to saying the things they wanted before they dated this person. Don't give up on what you wanted. Don't change what you want. Vero, you had some emotions around that.
I just think that we should probably make this the next conversation, the next topic for the summer series is just dating. Because I feel that as women, me, I'm going to just give you my opinion. I don't know how everyone else feels out there. But I think I mentioned this in some of the podcast episodes from the beginning, and we have to go way back into our archives. But I noticed that as I was along my peers, I was one of the last of our friends to get married, as I was out with other friends that were still single, not yet married, it was very hard to see my friends when we were single, because if they were dating someone, everything was about that partner, that other person. But I think for for our entire childhood and then being just young women, we're told, it's kind of like, maybe we're not told directly, it's possibly indirectly. We mold ourselves into what our potential partner could want. And they like to surf, I'm going to go surf. They like to do this, I'm going to do it. And we forget the things what we like. So that really brought up those feelings that for so long, we are just trying to find someone. And if I haven't found someone, there's something wrong with me. Oh, que no sé qué. So we just try to make it work. Oh, okay, yeah, they're mean, but they make money and they're funny. So all this, you kind of cancel out the little red flags that we know are there, because everything else, you're like, at the end of the day, no importa que tiene. Maybe I don't want kids. Yeah, you're right. ¿Para qué queremos hijos? Let's travel the world. I know a couple that is married. It's been married maybe now going on 10 years. And at first, she didn't want kids and the husband did. And then it swapped. The husband did and she didn't. And then when she finally came around, like, I do want kids. He was like, no, I don't want them. And now for sure I don't. So then she's all heartbroken, but now she has to deal with it. Either I end my marriage, or is this really a deal breaker or not? But it really sucks that we put aside our actual wants and desires and our dreams because of partnership. So that's why I think it's such a good topic.
Is such a great topic, and it's so true. And I want to reinforce that whether you are dating after heartbreak or dating after divorce, especially if it didn't go well in your previous relationship, not because of the things you wanted, maybe the things your partner wanted, like, don't forget who you are. Like, for anyone who's been broken up with or gotten divorced because the other partner wants to get divorced, like, you're in an even more fragile state, because we have to call it what it is. Like, rejection is such a hard thing to get over. And there's a lot of PTSD around rejection, and you may feel like not enough. You may feel rejected. If you were the person that's heart was broken and they've gotten to move on and they wanted the divorce and they are now in their best life, or they want you to perceive they're living their best life. I want to remind you that is happening for a reason in your life. It is not for you to change your standard. It is not for you to stop feeling like you're enough, because I could see that very easily happening in relationships too, where people that were left, to say it very bluntly, they were left. They felt it was working, and suddenly the partner wants out. That can really take a toll on your self-confidence. And that's why we're going to circle all the way back to the tip of the day. And the tip of the day was like self-love first, like before the dating. Process the heartbreak, process the feelings of rejection, of not feeling like enough, and do the work you need to do. Coaching, therapy, family, religion, like, do the work you need to do to remind yourself to go back to zero. To start at zero, to start fresh, that you are enough and you will be enough for the right person, and that you are not a reflection of what they wanted or changed their mind or no longer want it. Like, that's an interesting debate that I'll just brought up. Like, the person wants a kid, then they don't want a kid, then the other one does, and the other one doesn't. Like, dang, like, there's a lot of rejection, a lot of changing minds, a lot of new expectations. To pause after the breakup, if that happens, pause after the divorce and think truly, fully about what you want, and then go full force into that, because you're enough and what you want is enough. So that's what we want to remind everyone of as we wrap up this episode. This is our first of many short and sweet summer series episodes. We hope that you'll chime in because these are meant to create dialogue and conversation for full-length episodes in the fall. So please let us know what you think. You can email us. Our email is admin@leveluplatina.com. You can hit us up on Instagram or Facebook at Level Up Latina is our handle. Super easy to find us. And you can also sign up for coaching. You can sign up for coaching at leveluplatina.com. Maybe you are going through a divorce. You're navigating this. You don't want to feel alone. I have a lot of clients that get coaching because they are breaking up with their jobs and simultaneously breaking up with their partners. So I'd like to say that I'm a master at the breakup because it's a double whammy. And we're going to get to the other side and we're going to be okay with the breakup. So that is it for now. That is our first summer series episode. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks, mujeres, for being here.
Thank you.
Gracias.